In the last 1 or 2 years, we have seen a massive increase in hatred against Indians from Canadians. Usually, we would think of Canadians as inviting and maybe the most polite species on earth. But what has changed suddenly in the last 1 or 2 years that Canadians have started hating Indians? Who is to blame for this? In many videos, you see a flood of hate comments against Indians. Recently, a video got viral where a lady was blaming Indians for pooping on the Vasaga beach, something that we didn't even think of in the wildest of our dreams would storm the online world. And it reflected the amount of hatred Canadians now have against Indians. Is this racism, or are we Indians responsible for this situation? Okay, in this video, we are going to analyze many aspects of the situation. This is a well thought video. Through this video, I'm sharing my perspective. You may or may not agree with it. I'm completely fine with that. I request you to watch this video till the end and please put your comments, your views down in the comment section. Let's start. Generally, Canada is considered as a pro-immigration and an immigrant-friendly country. But that sentiment has been changing rapidly. If you're living in Canada, you would probably have major concerns about cost of living, about healthcare crisis, about the lack of jobs, increasing crime rate, and even a housing crisis. So who is to blame for this situation? Canadians are blaming the Trudeau government and the mass immigration. Of course, there are a lot of other reasons like the Russia-Ukraine war, which increased the energy prices, in turn increasing the cost of living and inflation around the globe, the lack of planning by the government in increasing the infrastructure around the increasing population in Canada, and of course, the pandemic-induced supply chain issues. But the overall sentiment in Canada is that the biggest reason behind all these different problems is mass immigration. And of course, as you might know, India has been the biggest contributor of immigrants in Canada in the recent years, which explains why a big part of this hate is coming towards Indian immigrants. But again, who is responsible and who is to blame for this hatred? Is it the Canadian government? Are we Indians actually responsible for it? Or is it Canadians who are just blaming Indians for all these problems? In my perspective, all three of them. The government and a small percentage of Indians have caused this trouble, and I would give some but least amount of blame to the Canadians actually who feel that way. Please watch this video till the end to understand my perspective better. In my view, the biggest blame goes to the government, which had the short-term solutions to the problems but no long-term vision. But first I want to talk about us Indians. Are we responsible for the hatred that we are getting? Yes, we can't be blamed for the housing crisis and for the jobs that we are grabbing, because of course, if any immigrant is coming in legally, they would need a place to live and work. It's the government and the corporates who are to be blamed. But yes, we Indians are responsible for a lot of things which are happening these days in Canada. Please allow me to explain it. India had this problem of brain drain. Do you know what it meant? The best brains, the creamy layer of the country was going out of India. But unfortunately, in the case of Canada, I'm very sad to say and experience this, that isn't the case anymore. It isn't the creamy layer of India which is coming out to Canada. It is in fact the other way around. In the last couple of years, it's really frustrating to see the kind of people that have been coming over from India. If you're one of them, please don't take it personally. I may not be talking about you, but rather the 5 or 10% of the people that are coming over. Yes, I have a Canadian passport, but on my face it says that I'm an Indian, and that would be there forever. But I don't want to be identified as one of those people who are creating ruckus here. Earlier, it was so rare to find Indians involved in crimes, but now it is so common. People are making videos how to exploit the food banks and how to escape grocery stores and public transport without paying. Young Dundas Square in Toronto was one of my most favorite places to visit because of the vibe. How happening is it? I'm very sorry to say, but Indians have destroyed it. Again, a small part of those Indians, they keep dancing on Punjabi, on Bhojpuri, on Gujarati songs all the time there, and it is not enjoyable anymore. It is so annoying to watch. Until it was just about enjoying, it was all fine, but I believe it has gone way ahead. We would occasionally go there to see maybe somebody dancing on some Punjabi beats, on some dhol, but now it has got so annoying watching people doing vulgar moves, dancing like crazy. I don't go to that spot anymore. You may say it's just a one-off, so let me give you many more examples. Me being an Indian is actually now scared to go to Brampton. I used to go there maybe once every month for a good Indian meal, but now I go there maybe hardly once every 6 months because I'm actually scared to go there. I've seen so many accidents happening. Agitated drivers, same behavior that we used to see in India, they don't follow the traffic rules. I live in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. I've seen Indians jumping the red lights, jaywalking. I've seen them involved in so many crimes in some of the police investigations. And trust me, this wasn't the case 5 years ago. It really breaks my heart when I see something like this. And I know that many Indians might be commenting that it's just people from Punjab who are actually ruining the culture and doing all this stuff. Unfortunately, that's also not the case. Yes, because Canada is famous for Punjabis, that does not mean that they are the only one who are doing this kind of stuff. I've seen Gujaratis, I've seen people from South India, I've seen people from all parts of India actually. So we just can't blame only people from Punjab. We have to take this on ourselves. We have to say that yes, we Indians are the culprits. We Indians are actually destroying the Canadian culture. A big complaint to all those Indians, especially the international students who are working in grocery stores, maybe Walmart, or the food outlets, maybe Tim Hortons or McDonald's. Please learn some sort of customer service from Canadians. If you go to any store, they do greet you with a smile because most of these places have Indians working over there. I don't remember when was the last time anybody greeted me when I went to Tim Hortons or Walmart. They would simply scan whatever you've got, ask if you've got Visa or MasterCard, put it in a bag and give it to you. Even if you say thanks to them, they don't even reply. And it feels so rude. Now, I'm telling this to you as a big brother. I'm an Indian, so you can't say I'm being racist. Please remember that we are ambassadors of India whenever we are outside of the country. If you behave rudely, you don't have proper manners, or you are not very civic, then they would feel that everyone from India is just like that. As far as that video is concerned, where that lady was saying that Indians were pooping at the Vasaga beach, it might be true or it might not be true. Till date, she hasn't been able to prove it. Even the mayor of the city came out saying that there's no evidence for it. But maybe anyone did it, and if just one person did it, she blamed the complete community for it. So that is what happens. I request all those 5-10% people who are behaving that way, who are not that civic, maybe you are not one of them, but you know them, please teach them as elder brothers or sisters. If they're doing something wrong, please tell them to stop, because eventually it would be the complete community which would be blamed for their mistakes. We Indians have done tons of good stuff in Canada and everywhere around the world. We want to be credited for that good work, not for that silly stuff, that mistakes that small percentage of Indians keep doing all the time. Okay, now let's talk about all those Canadians who are actually showering all those hate comments. In the start of the video, I told that I would give least amount of blame to them, and that was because I want to give them a benefit of doubt of something that all humans have, this attitude of stereotyping or generalizing. Whenever we see something wrong happening somewhere, we feel that it may be something wrong with that religion or that skin color or that complete community or that particular city or whatever. It may be a particular percentage of that community. In this particular case, a very, very small percentage of Indians who are actually behaving in this particular way here in Canada. Having analyzed a lot of comments over the last few months, I have noticed that they do realize that it is only a small percentage of Indians that are actually behaving this way, because Indians have been living here for ages and they have never faced such kind of a problem before. It is just in the last couple of years that they've also noticed such uncivic behavior. So maybe if any of those Canadians who actually likes to put those hate comments, I would like to say to you that please don't stereotype. I'm sure that things would improve in the days to come. Okay, now let's talk about the Canadian government. I believe the biggest blame actually goes to them. They had the short-term solutions for the problems that existed in the past and no long-term vision. Here in Canada, unlike USA, we don't have any cap on the number of temporary residents that would get the visas, whether those are work or study permits. As a result, a huge number of immigrants actually came over legally to Canada in the last couple of years, and the infrastructure was just not ready for it. There isn't enough housing in Canada to accommodate the number of people that are coming in. There is this big gap between supply and demand. Of course, the prices would increase both for owning and renting the property. Housing being the biggest contributor of the expenses, the cost of living has also gone very high, all due to improper planning of the Canadian government. While immigration is something that the federal government controls, the provincial and the municipal government actually controls the healthcare and the policing as well. And they too have failed because of the healthcare crisis and the increasing crime rates. There's one more reason that's coming to my mind, that's about the India-Canada diplomatic ties. We have seen so much conflict between the Canadian and the Indian government in the last 1 year. Of course, that would get into the subconscious mind of the Canadian population as well. Whatever the situation was, the Canadian government could have chosen to handle it diplomatically instead of going out in public, because that might have also contributed a little bit towards that hatred that we're talking about. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. I do realize that I did make some harsh comments in this video. Please don't take it personally if you're one of those people. It's a constructive criticism. As I said earlier, please remember that we all are ambassadors of India abroad. If you do something good, behave in a good way and get appreciated, they would not just think that you are good, they would think that all the Indians are that way. And similarly, in the opposite way as well, if you are rude, if you don't behave in a good manner, or you do something which is not appreciated, they would think that all the Indians are just like that. It is just human behavior. Stereotyping is something that we just cannot escape. Thanks a lot for watching this video. As I told you in the starting, I want to know your perspective, your views of the current situation. So please let me know in the comment section, how do you feel about this current situation? If you agree with my perspective or you don't. I'm totally fine if you don't agree with it, but I want to know about your perspective as well. So please comment and let me know about it. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you really like the video, then click the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, then please click the subscribe button before moving on to the next video. Thanks again.